Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. First off, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, all praises to the Most High God of Israel. Right, today we're going to be talking about a very important topic. Burning sage is not a sin. Right, this is going to be the true understanding of hyssop through an unbiased lens. Let's get right to it. Right. So first off, before we examine this topic, we as Israelites must judge every topic with discernment and righteousness. It is not righteous for us to judge by our own vain opinion and our own vain ideas, not when the Most High has already lined out how we should judge each and every specific situation, how we should judge each other, how we should judge certain topics. Right? It's the book of John, chapter 7, verse 51. Doth our law judge any man before it hear him and know what he doeth? And the answer would be no. You are not allowed to judge a man before you have heard the matter. And you are not allowed to judge the situation before you've seen it. Right? So this is Sirach chapter 3, verse 21 through 24. Concentrate on the law, which has been given to you. You do not need to know about things which the Lord has not revealed. So don't concern yourself with them. After all, what has been shown to you is beyond human power to understand. Many people have been misled by their own opinions. Their wrong ideas have warped their judgment. So you may have a wrong idea, a preconceived idea about sage, a preconceived idea about burning certain herbal plants, right? But we're going to clear that up today. Leviticus 19 and 15, you shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. So we're going to judge each other. We're going to judge each topic according to the law of God and according to the rest of the prophets, right? Let's keep going. We know we can't judge something that we don't know about, right? We can't give our own opinions just because we don't agree with the truth. This is Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus 4 and 25. In no wise speak against the truth, right? So don't speak against the truth, but be abashed of the error of thine ignorance. You should only be ashamed of yourself for thinking ignorantly. You should only be ashamed of being wrong, right? You shouldn't be ignorant and quick to overthrow what's already been outlined as the truth. This is Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 26. God gave you wisdom in your heart to judge his people in righteousness, that their good things be not abolished, and that their glory may endure forever. So we have to judge in righteousness so that the things that we do well don't go away, and that the things that we do wrong do perish away. This is Sirach chapter 11 and verse 7. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. So how can you judge something before you've examined it? You've examined all facets of the topic. You can't make a final decision about anything until it's been examined, right? Let's keep reading. Understand first and then rebuke. So what is sage? What is sage? This is the topic of the day, right? Let's examine what sage is. This is the source of healthline.com. We got the link posted right underneath. You'll be able to see it. So its other names include common sage, garden sage, and Salvia officinalis. It belongs to the mint family, right? Keep that in mind. The mint family, alongside other herbs like oregano, rosemary, basil, and thyme. So sage has a strong aroma and earthy flavor, which is why it's typically used in small amounts. Even so, it's packed with a variety of important nutrients and compounds. Right? Sage is also used as a natural cleaning agent for pesticides and ritual objects in spiritual sage burning or smudging. All right. So let's get understanding. We're just get understanding of what sage is, what the mint family is. So what other plants are within the mint family besides sage? Right? We have lavender, we have catnip, we have other sages that are not the common sage. We have rosemary, boogleweed, lemon balm, holy basil, mint, thymes, oregano, dead needles, mentha, ground ivy, patchouli, hyssop, and other oregano. So these are only some of the plants that we have listed here just for this video, but the mint family encompasses a large variety and range of mints, right? So what does the mint family have to do with the Bible? The family of mints are biblically called hyssops. Hyssops, a common plant that is found in the Bible by priests and kings for various medicinal and ritual purposes. Hyssop is one of the main plants within the mint family. The Bible says that herbs and plants are made after their own kinds, which is families, right? Genesis chapter 1 and 11. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind," meaning after his family, right? After its own lineage, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. This is James chapter 3 and verse 12. Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Right? So can a fig tree bear olive berries? No, it cannot. Right? It's not an olive tree. It's a fig tree. It's supposed to bear figs, right? Either a vine, figs. Can a vine bear figs? No. A vine bears grapes and other berries. So how can a vine bear figs when it's not supposed to? So this is what the word says. So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh, right? So the mint family produces mints. Hyssop is a mint, right? After its own kind, after its own family. So when we talk about sage and when we talk about hyssop, we are talking about the same family of plant. Let me say that one more time. Many of you have heard of the biblical uses of hyssop. But what you didn't know is that sage is in the exact same family. They are made after the same kind, thus saith the Lord. Right? So sage and hyssop are in the same family, according to Genesis chapter 1 and 11. Just as the apple tree makes green apples and red apples, the mint family produces sages and hyssops. This is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, which is after its same family, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So God sees that it is good for plants to be called after their own families and after their own kind. So it is a good thing that sage and hyssop are both called under the same name of mints. Now, the use of hyssops, aka mints, in the Bible. Hyssop is used in the Bible as a medicinal plant for purging and purifying. Let's examine 1 Kings chapter 4, 30 through 33. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men. Then Ethan the Ezrahite, then Haman and Chakol and Darda the sons of Mahal, and his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beast and of fowl and of creeping things and of fishes. So Solomon, one of the wisest men to ever live, spoke of the benefits of hyssop. What does that involuntarily mean? Solomon knew of the wisdom of sages and mints, which are the same thing. Okay? This is the mint family after its kind. Psalms chapter 51 and verse 7. Purge me with hyssop, that's the mint family, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Right? So we're not talking about purging specifically in this Bible, but the benefits of purging. Purging is for the purpose of purifying and cleansing according to the law of uncleanness. Right? So this is Leviticus chapter 14, 48 through 49. Salakia. And the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague hath not spread in the house. And the house was plastered. Then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds and cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop. So we see that the mint family has a very important biblical use in the Bible, right? The mint family is a spiritual plant and it is a medicinal physical plant. The use of hyssop in the Bible. According to Numbers chapter 19, the mint family is to be burned for the purpose of purification. It can also be used with the purposes of with water, and we're going to examine that in part 2. The purpose of purification is for sin, disease, and uncleanness. So this is Numbers chapter 19, verse 1 through 9. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein there is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before the face. And Eleazar the priest shall take the blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight. Her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet. Let's see what's going to be done with this cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet. And cast it into the midst of the fire. Cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer, which is in the fire. Right? So the Lord commanded the priest to throw hyssop into fire. Why? Well, what did the book of Psalms tell us? The book of Psalms said you can purge with hyssop to make things clean. Right? This is a ritual for cleanliness, for cleanness. The purpose of hyssop is that it is a cleansing and purifying agent, right? This is the mint family, which includes sage. Now let's keep reading. Then the priest shall wash his clothes and shall bathe his flesh in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And the man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer. Now, what's within the ashes of the heifer? That would be cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet. All of that is in the ashes. And lay them up without the camp in a clean place, and it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. So the ashes that come off of this hyssop and the heifer and the other ingredients of these ashes are used for purification of sin. All right. So right here we have biblically outlined that hyssop ash is used for the purification of sin, which aligns directly with the book of Psalms. Now we're going to open up our books, open up the Apocrypha into Sirach chapter 38. We're going to examine. So Sirach chapter 38, we'll start at verse 1. Honor a physician. A physician is a healer, according to your need, with the honors due to him. For truly the Lord has created him. For healing comes from the Most High, and he shall receive a gift from the King. The skill of the physician will lift up his head, and he will be admired in the sight of great men. The Lord created medicines out of the earth. Let's read that again. The Lord created medicines out of the earth. A prudent man, which is a wise man, which is a man of skill, which is a man of knowledge, will not despise them. So what will a wise man not do? He will not despise the medicines of the earth. That is the different herbal plants, the different spices that the Lord made for the children of Israel, that the Lord made for man in general to heal. Right? Wasn't water made sweet with wood? Then that its power might be known. He gave men skill that he might be glorified in his marvelous works. With them he heals and takes away pain. With these the pharmacist makes a mixture. God's work won't be brought to an end. From him peace is upon the face of the earth. My son, in your sickness, don't be negligent, right? Don't be a fool. Use the medicines of the earth, but pray to the Lord and he will heal you. Put away wrongdoing and direct your hands in righteousness. Cleanse your heart from all sin. Give a sweet savor in a memorial of fine flour, and pour oil in your offering according to your means. Then give place to the physician, which is the healer, for truly the Lord has created him. Don't let him leave you, for you need him. Right? You need the certain healing properties of the priest. You need the certain healing capabilities of the kings. You need certain herbal healing and herbal remedies, right? A wise man is not going to hate the biblical, especially the biblical herbs that are outlined in the Bible. You shouldn't hate sage. That's just madness. Sage is in the mint family, which is in the same family as hyssop, which is the same thing the children of Israel use to purge and purify themselves of uncleanness, disease, and sin. Right? So after all the evidence that we've seen about the mint family and its biblical uses, the book of Sirach says that a wise man will not hesitate to use it. So only a fool will despise these medicinal plants and the many uses that they have. So it would be foolish for a man to say sage and its mint family are not medicinal herbs intended for us to use. Different plants in this family cure, not only treat, but cure many viruses and illnesses, right? So we're going to look at a source from the herbalacademy.com, right? While the medicinal actions of the mint family plants make quite a long list, many of them fit into 4 categories. Nervine for the nervous system, which treats anxiety, depression, headaches, insomnia, and dementia. And digestive for digestive system complaints, including indigestion, gas, cramps, nausea, and colic. Right? So what else does the mint family do? The mint family is also known for helping other properties and diseases in the Bible. We're examining right now Prunella vulgaris mint and the hyssop mint. Prunella vulgaris uses and benefits. Prunella is a medicinal herb that belongs to the mint family. Some claim it can help protect against viruses, infections, and chronic diseases, including diabetes and cancer. So what fool would say that we can't use the mint family? And it helps to fight and cure diabetes, chronic diseases, and cancer. How foolish of you. Next, let's look at the benefits of hyssop. The nutrients and essential oils in hyssop can offer some helpful effects. For example, hyssop is rich in flavonoids, flavorful compounds that act as antioxidants. Eating foods rich in flavonoids may help reduce your risk of age-related conditions like cataracts, heart disease, and strokes. Man, so what fool would tell you that we cannot use these plants? And there are various ways to use these plants. So what are the benefits of burning mint? That's the main topic at hand. Burning sage. Burning sage and other plants that are in this mint family, like lavender, which a lot of you already do. Thyme, basil. Let's take a look. So the benefits of burning plants in the mint family, including sage, are various and ranging. The Bible says a wise man will not hate these medicines. You can't say it's a sin to use natural herbal plants for its medicinal benefits, yet you use harmful candles and fragrant sprays, such as Lysol and Glide, that have no medicinal benefits and actually put toxins in the air. Meanwhile, the benefits of mints and the smoke that comes from mints cleans the air. So modern candles toxify the air, and mint smoke, such as sage and lavender and basil and thyme, those detoxify the air. So we must unlearn the lies that we've been taught and examine the truth righteously, right? Burning sage, also known as smudging, involves burning sage leaves and letting the smoke purify the air in your home. The benefits of burning sage include this: removing bacteria from the air, repelling insects, improving intuition, purifying specific objects like we read about, and improving mood and reducing stress and anxiety, right? And all that happens through the component nervine that it produces, right? So Israel, all we have to do is re-examine these plants. If we're going to judge something, we have to judge it righteously. So many of you might say that it is a sin to use these plants and it's a sin to use these things in the way that we have been, right? Now, if you're using these plants in an idolizing way, if you're using this for witchery, if you're using this for false gods, of course it's a sin. But if you're using this for your herbal health, for your physical health, and through the righteous way that the Bible has already outlined through the law of God, then it is not a sin. It is righteousness. Shalom.